Hi, I'm Sarah Backhouse, and you are watching Future 360 TV, and welcome to the first episode in a new series of interviews with thought leaders in the clean tech industry. Today's guest is Clint Wilder. He's the senior editor at research and advisory firm Cleantech, and he's also the author of Cleantech Nation, an excellent book. Today we'll be discussing the future of clean tech, the big trends in the sector. Are we seeing clean tech changing from this capital-intensive industry to something that focuses more on crowdfunding, resource sharing, and other clean web applications?
It's a great question, Sarah, because it's just an example of how innovation just keeps happening in clean tech, and it's not always innovation in a laboratory. It can be innovation in a finance model or in a whole new conception. I mean, car sharing, didn't exist some years ago, and now it's a $500 million acquisition. So I think there is something of a shift, and you see a lot of these, the merging of clean tech and high tech, and a lot of these web-based business models, even beyond car sharing, of ride sharing, which is kind of a pure web business, right? And obviously much less capital intensive. And, we see here in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, we see a lot of that because it's a natural outgrowth of the high tech and the web industries that are based here. So it's a shift, but nothing is ever going to fully replace the shovel-ready, steel in the ground type projects in solar, in wind, in waste to resource, in electric car and hybrid car batteries. Many, many aspects of clean tech are always going to be capital intensive, and they are getting the investment. And so around the same time that Avis acquired Zipcar for $500 million, Warren Buffett's company, Mid-American Energy, bought two major solar projects in Southern California for $2 billion. So that's, if you will, a more traditional clean energy model, but still attracting mainstream investment like that. Those two things happen right around the first of the year, and as well as with the fiscal cliff package, Congress renewing the production tax credit for wind power and also geothermal for another year. And it's actually better than a year because projects that just start construction this year are eligible. So you don't have to be producing power by the end of this year to get that credit. So that was really good news for the industry to start off 2013 after, as you say, what was a very challenging 2012.
What sectors are going to thrive this year? What are the sectors to watch in 2013?
Well, certainly we're going to see a continued growth of solar installations, especially in the U.S., other countries too. Some of the incentives and subsidies are being cut back, but just the fact that solar prices are so low that is really pushing the industry forward, the installation industry. And Solar City, after a couple of bumps in the road, did have a successful IPO, and that's given a lot of people renewed hope. And it's that the market actually really did get that Solar City is in the growing part of the solar business, the downstream part of installation and financing, whereas the manufacturers who have to compete on those much lower prices are having great difficulty.
What about the electric vehicle market? What can we expect from that this year?
There'll be some growth, but it's still a tough sell. I think Tesla with the Model S sedan, Motor Trend Car of the Year, that will get a lot of interest. But I think for this year and maybe a couple of years beyond, the name of the game will still be hybrids.
I think the other good news story was that the public support of clean technologies is at an all-time high. Unfortunately, we've been victim to extreme weather events, but it has meant that the public is seeing the connection between dirty energy and dirty weather. How do we reconcile that public support and knowing that they want it with this investor downturn? And
I have to look at the figures, but like the percentage of venture capital going into clean tech as a percentage of all venture capital has gone way up. I don't know the figure for last year when we had a down year, but it was up to almost 25% in 2011. Challenging times will affect all industries, clean tech being no exception. Hurricane Sandy, and now that the official statistics about how 2012 was the hottest year in the US by a wide margin. That story just broke yesterday. The public is really becoming very aware of this. Unfortunately, it takes these kinds of crises and disasters sometimes to raise that awareness. But I think, that will be kind of a theme going forward, that people will see those connections. That's, certainly bodes well for Cleantech. And at the same time, and I can't stress this enough, the fact that it's not a choice between environment and economy. That has been a false choice for a long, long time. It's perpetrated by a lot of politicians and industries that fund them. At Clean Edge, our company, and in our new book, Cleantech Nation, we continue to stress the point that not only is it economically advantageous to invest in and develop clean technologies, but it's economically necessary in terms of competing on a global basis with China, Germany, Brazil, South Korea, UK, many, many, many other places that are investing at a more rapid pace than we are.
I think it's really the philosophy of the humans involved in clean technology that drives the movement forward. And so I'd like to ask you more personally, what drew you to clean technology?
Well, before I covered clean tech, I covered high tech for quite a long time, 17, 18 years on both coasts, first in Boston and then here in the Bay Area. I've always enjoyed covering innovation and seeing how, the whole rise of the internet. I have the scars for covering the rise and fall and rise again or something. But then about 10 years ago, I've always felt very deeply about the environment. And as more and more I learned about climate change, really we needed to do something. And as clean tech was really kind of in its infancy 10 years ago, I was very intrigued with this idea that all these things that I saw in the internet industry, the entrepreneurship, the desire to change the world for the better through information and communication. Well, I saw entrepreneurs motivated with passions to do well and do good. Everyone wants to profit from this, but in clean tech, there's that additional passion of really wanting to have a positive impact for the planet. And so that's always been very inspiring to me. And it's really, it's the people. I'm glad you mentioned the human side, because we can get caught up in the financial numbers and the products, but it's really the people who are making this happen. And I'm just continually inspired by the types of smart, innovative, and very passionate people that I get to interact with as I cover this.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the community of people is really what makes it. And to be honest, for all these engineers and technicians and scientists, I'm sure they could be in another industry that's much easier and potentially more lucrative. I think it takes a certain something to, choose clean technology and make that your destiny. So I'm eager to tap into that this year and find out what it is that drives people. So thanks for sharing.
Exactly. But it has, it has been lucrative for many, and we hope that we're going to see more and more. And, if Warren Buffett's putting $2 billion into it, that tells you something. That's
true. Okay, wonderful. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Clint, for being part of our first episode in the Thought Leaders series. I'm Sarah Backhouse for Future 360 TV. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.